Ah, yes.
And yesterday he wished that he could have water instead of milk. And I got water.
Okay.
Water.
All right. Let's go finish our assignment from yesterday. We only have a couple more things to read. So, on Google Classroom, Alex, I will take that away. Not correctly, though. If you're going to do it very annoyingly, I'm going to take it away. Causing a distraction, not my favorite thing. So, Google Classroom, scroll down to Social Studies. We're going to finish our Patricians versus Plebeians assignment. So let's go ahead and get those open, please. We did 1, 2, and 3 yesterday. Yep, and then today we're going to finish 4, 5, and 6. So, oh, is there 7?
Yeah.
Okay, then we're going to do 7 as well. We're going to finish it today. 5 and 6 are on one slide? Okay, so yeah, we're going to finish it up today. I'm going to get all zoomed in.
Wait, what is it? Oh, Patricians and the
All right, so I'm going to give you about 1 minute to get these both open, and then we are going to get going.
Remember, I had to miss the whole because of this.
Okay, that's fine. We're on slide number 4.
Okay.
Yep. So for slide number 4, again, we're going to come up with a title after we read it. And then it says to write a short conversation between a plebeian leader and the Agrippa Lenatus that shows their encounter on the sacred mount. None of that makes sense to you yet because we haven't read it yet. So we're going to read part 4, and then you guys are going to have to write a couple of sentences about what they would talk about. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and go over to 4 and read it. Oh, it's nice and short. Number 4 says, well, first, before we start, were the patricians the wealthy ones or the poor ones?
I forgot. They were the wealthy ones.
Good. The patricians were the wealthy people. They were the top 5% of the Roman Empire. They basically had all these lavish and amazing parties. Never had to fight in any wars. Everything was done for them, basically. The plebeians were the rest of the 95% of the civilization. They basically did everything. They were the military. They took care of the crops. They did everything, basically. And remember, the plebeians kind of started a revolt against the patricians, and they were like, yo, we want to be equal, so, like, give us some rights, please. So that's kind of where we're at. And the patricians are worried that if they don't give the plebeians any of the rights that they're asking for, that they're just going to leave Rome. And if they leave Rome, they're not going to have an army anymore. So, number 4 says, patricians were right to worry. The lack of a military would make Rome an easy target for a nearby enemy. The plebeians followed through on their threat and fled Rome in masses to the Sacred Mount, a hill outside of the city. Fearing for the safety and security of their city, the patricians were willing to negotiate. They sent Agrippa Lenatus, a former consul that was well liked by the plebeians, in an attempt to convince the plebeians to return. The plebeians did leave, and then the patricians sent one person to be like, yo, come back, please. So, he spoke about the crucial role.
Marcus Bay, please come to the office with your things. Marcus Bay, please come to the office with your things.
So Agrippa Lenatus spoke about the crucial role that the plebeian class played in the Roman affairs. He compared Rome to a body. The plebeians were its arms and legs, and the patricians were its belly. In order for the city to survive, Lenatus argued, all parts needed to support each other. The plebeians agreed with Lenatus, but to return to Rome, the plebeian leaders demanded one thing, more political power, so they wanted to be part of the government. The patricians were ready to compromise. Compromise means that you're going to come to an agreement. So, the plebeians are out on this mountain. They fled Rome. They were like, no, we're not going to live here because you guys are mean to us. And the patricians, the wealthy people, sent one guy to come and negotiate with them to be like, hey, please come back. We'll let you be part of the political things that happen around here. Let you help run the country. So your goal for this slide number 4, if you click down in there, is to write, let's say, 2 to 3 sentences about what happened between the plebeian leaders and Lanitus.
Can we just write exactly what you just said?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, what I just said works if you'd like to. Yeah.
What did you just
I am not repeating what I just said. Maybe you should listen when I talk. Okay, so about 2 to 3 sentences. Also, come up with a title.
Oh, yeah, it was the runners. Oh, we called the compromise.
Okay, I like that. The compromise. Okay. Or the negotiation. That works too, Yoshi. Okay. So it's
Wait, what did I say, Lisa?
the negotiation.
Oh,
All right, I'm gonna give you guys 4 minutes.
I was all rubbing my head too.
Okay, again, 4 minutes to complete this because we only have a half hour, so it's gonna go kind of quick. 4 minutes to write these 2 to 3 sentences, and then I'm gonna move on to read number 5 and 6 so that we can do those questions.
Okay. Well, I gotta still say this one because I missed it. I mean, still a good question. Finish the job. I don't think nobody but then I don't think because I just have to say.
Okay, about 2 more minutes.
I need to write a letter to the phone. That's a letter. What other letters? B, C, D, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, P, Q, R, S, T, U, W, X, Y, Z. Okay, I'll do that. Huh? Exactly. We need words, not letters. Oh. Oh, yeah, I'll try to remember. Every single word, spelling, and letter. Like A, B, C, D, L, I didn't know that. It's like A, B, C, L, M,
Okay, about 1 minute.
We don't. I don't get why people get ear piercings.
Does that have to do with what we're doing right now? Think about it.
I mean, cause why does it hurt when you put a needle through your like skin or something?
We'll talk about this after, not in the middle of the lesson. All right, let's look at slide number 5. On this one, again, we're going to come up with a title. And then it says that you're going to imagine that you're a patrician. So you're one of the wealthy people. And you're writing a letter to a plebeian, one of the poor people. Your letter needs to show at least 3 ways that your political power has improved as a result of the conflict of the orders. So we're going to read through these, and then we'll come up with a few examples of how the political power has improved, and you'll need to write them in sentences. So I'm going to go read 5 and 6 really quick. They're pretty short. Also, this picture right here has the picture of them going to the mountain and talking out and negotiating their stuff. So number 5 says, the results of that negotiation and the talking was a massive win for the majority-held plebeian class. First, plebeians secured the right to have their views represented in the Senate. A new group was created called the Tribune of the Plebs, which would represent plebeian interests. A council of 10 elected plebeians would serve in this body and could veto or reject any law, order, or decision that was decided by the Senate. This group also received absolute protection. Any person who laid hands on one of these tribunes would be banished from the city, and the plebeian class was entitled to kill the attacker without fear of punishment. Interesting. This treated the tribune members as too important to be interfered with. Number 6 says, second, one of the 2 consul positions had to be plebeian. This meant that not only would plebeians hold power over the Senate, but they would also share control of the leadership of Rome. So remember, the consuls were the 2 higher people in Rome. One of them would go lead the military, and the other one would stay back and run the city. Now, one of them is a patrician, and the other one is a plebeian, so they have to work together. Okay? And third, and finally, plebeians demanded the legal system to be changed. No longer were laws to be changed to benefit the patrician elite. For the first time, laws in Roman society were to be written down. These laws were carved into 12 wooden tables and were known as the 12 tables. The 12 tables formed the basis of law for the Roman Republic and combined strict rules with harsh punishment. So, let's go ahead and go look over at our thing and write down a couple of ideas of so you're writing a letter to a plebeian. I don't know, what name should we use? Dear. Okay, we're writing to Jake from State Farm, who is a plebeian. Okay. How has Jake from State Farm, the plebeian, so the lower class, how has his life changed? What kind of laws does, and no, go do, like, if we're going to make a joke out of it, I'm not going to use it. What sort of rights do the plebeians have now? Okay, plebeians are or can be a consul, one of the leaders. Okay. What else did the plebeians get out of this? What else did they gain?
They gained the mind power. So wait, what is that in the first one? So they got all their soldiers back?
Mari?
The Plebeians said that the government had to be changed so much with the work of exams.
Good.
I knew that. I didn't know that.
Okay. Yeah, so the laws are written down now so that they can't be changed as easily so that the patricians get what they want. What's one more thing, and then I'll have you guys write these as complete sentences. What's another thing that the plebeians got? That's fine.
Like how they are. Like 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I'm writing 1, 2, 3.
What else did the plebeians get based off of this? Yeah, that's probably fine.
Okay. I like it over there all typing out sentences. No, this is easy.
Okay, we need one more thing.
Be leader.
So we have that they can be leaders. The laws are written down.
They could veto any law.
They could reject laws. Good. So instead of like just passing any law that they can, now there's kind of like a checks and balances system where if the patricians want to pass a law, the plebeians can be like, no, that's an awful law. I don't want to do that. And then it's not a law. So they have the ability to reject laws.
I put they could be leaders and they could reject some laws.
That works. So I'm going to give you guys about 2 minutes to get these typed out into complete sentences, please.
If you have to put our actual name at the bottom,
Does it ask you to put your name?
it's sincerely a Patrician.
No, you can put something else as your name.
I'm gonna put Aaron Rodgers.
The very bottom.
How do you spell it? John, how do you spell it? His name. Jake. Master Colon. Anything? Huh?
Okay, about 1 more minute and then we're going to do our last slide.
Here, look, put it up, put my screen up there so Charlie can see it. I'm getting confused. Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes. Have you seen that video where he put he used the word ketchup bottle on his steak and he's like,
Nope, never heard of it.
it's a commercial.
Okay, about 30 seconds and then we're going to look at our last slide. Whew. What?
You mean this in a letter of consideration? Did you know Patrick
Sure.
Mahomes is a sponsor of ketchup? Oh, they was what? Yeah, he wants to pursue that and got sponsored by it. So they use
You good, Charlie?
What? Yeah,
He's addicted to.
All right. We are going to go do our last slide now. So on this one, we have some questions to answer, and that's it. So I'm going to go read number 7 really quick, and we will answer these questions. Good. Number 7 says, this relationship between patricians and plebeians was over political power in Rome, and it would last for quite some time. However, in the year 81 BCE, Rome saw the rise of a dictator named Sulla, who viewed the tribune as a threat to his power. A dictator is someone that takes over the country, right? They want everything done their way or the highway. If you're not doing it their way, they're probably going to kill you. That's what a dictator is. If you think about someone who is a dictator, you can think of someone like Hitler, who ended up killing 6 million people because he wanted absolute power. So things like that is what we consider a dictator, okay? So this guy in Rome, Sulla, decides that the tribune, which is how the plebeians have power, is a threat to him, and he wants to get rid of it. So he ignored their veto power and refused to support a tribune member's attempt at a higher office. Plebeian power further declined at the ascension of Julius Caesar. We are going to learn about Julius Caesar next week. No. Being a patrician, Caesar was banned from serving in the tribune. However, in 48 BCE, he illegally took one of its seats to maintain control over the group. Caesar was assassinated in 44 BCE, and Rome was plunged into a great civil war. The Republic would not survive, but in reality, it had died well before Caesar took rise. So we're gonna do. You guys remember the thing about King Tut that we did, where we decided if he was murdered or not? We're gonna do something super similar with Caesar to talk about who killed him. With Julius Caesar instead, yeah. Huh? I actually don't know. I'm going to learn a lot about Julius Caesar as we're doing it as well. I don't know a lot about him. So when we do that thing together, I'll probably learn about as much as you do. I think that it wants us to figure out who murdered him. So let's go ahead and title this. What should we title it?
Julius Caesar.
Well, it's not only about Caesar. But it's not about the assassination. That I like that. The end of the Republic. Okay, because this is kind of like how Rome kind of ended. They had a lot of issues with trying to balance the power between the lower class and the higher class, and it led to the downfall of Rome. Okay.
Is that why Rome is so messed up?
Sure. All right. So who was the first guy that was the dictator that started? Yeah, Sulla, right? Sulla. S-U-L-L-A. Alex, are you typing this out at all? Well. Okay. I'm going to scroll down. Let's look at our next one. This next question says, how did Julius Caesar build on the work of Sulla with regard to political rights for plebeians? He did something illegal. What did he do? Good. He illegally, because he was a patrician, took a government job of a plebeian. So when he did that, he had power over the plebeians because they assumed that he was a plebeian.
Yeah. So in the end, that Julius Caesar was a good person.
No, Julius Caesar was not a good person.
He's a bad boy. But that doesn't. He's a bad boy. No, absolutely not. You're not absolutely. Don't do that. Never again.
Okay, let's move on.
What is the problem is about that? It just sounds so wrong.
Okay, be typing this out, please, and then we'll do the last couple questions. Okay, let's answer our next one. This next one says, what rights were taken from the plebeians as the Republic fell?
Everything. The power.
What rights were taken?
The power.
Power is not a right. Well, that's Julius Caesar, but what rights were taken away first? What did Sulla do first? So no veto power.
He also didn't use the
Yeah. Sulla basically made them not be able to go up to higher offices, and he took away their power to veto or reject any laws. I literally just said it like 5 times.
We've done this hearing and wait, what did you say? Listening and hearing the same thing?
No, because you can hear what I'm saying, because you can hear the noise. Listening means that you're actually understanding what I'm saying and doing what I ask. So, Alex has a habit of hearing things, but not listening to things.
No, both of them at the same time. Sometimes that happens to me. Would you rather be Oh, I didn't know. Sorry. I swear that person, what did you say? Would you rather be
Aren't they both superheroes? Aren't Ninja Turtles superheroes?
Yeah, they are. Yes, they are. They don't have powers. Yeah, they just have a really good fighting skill.
Okay. Well, I know what they are. I was just didn't know if we considered them superheroes or not. That's true. Okay, let's finish this up. We got one last question. Okay, last question. Why do you think that anybody that's in power, so anybody that has power over a country, would try to become a dictator like Sulla and Caesar did? Why would they want to be a dictator? Okay, so they have a big ego. Yes. After we're done, we're almost done. They have a big ego, but since they have a big ego, what do they want? They want power. They're power hungry. Okay, things like that. So once you finish typing this stuff out, that is the end of this one, and you can get it turned in when you're done. And